But please not a prismatic start, please.
So you're fine with the spatula start, you're fine with the crown start, but a prismatic start, that's too far.
Yeah, prismatic start to me is
got
like
the rules.
above the line. Yeah, prismatic line above the line. And definitely getting a double tier start might not be the best here, but it tells you that you're forced to play either with a mage or an astral. And at this, at this meta, looking for lagoons in the early, getting a level 2 start Talia already with a blue buff. That's a very nice start.
That's about the best start you can hope for a lagoon. It's just like, oh man, if only I had a lagoon start that could carry me through. 2-star Talia on 1-3. That's going to be a great start here from Metabolette.
Yes, and also is lucky enough to maybe push for a static and switch the entire comp, but I don't think that this might be the smartest idea, because again, getting a double tier start when you're playing Lagoons, and there goes the Kai'Sa, and there goes the Malphite. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner right here with one of the best starts you can hope for as a Lagoon player, with a 2-star Talia, 2 Malphites on the board, and there's a Kai'Sa waiting for that gold. He's already having a blessing.
Oh, we have 2 Lagoon players right out the gate here. Your man Mujiwara coming in as well with the 3 Lagoon start. Not lucky enough to get the 2-star Lagoon out of the gate, but he actually has that synergy and already the potential for a Shojin or save up for that blue buff already on his board.
Yeah, and all of this might change soon as you start seeing the augments happen on board. And now that he gets Essence Theft, he might be going for a nice mix between Lagoons and maybe push for mages. And in this specific patch, you always look for Astral or Lagoon start, despite whatever you're playing. And maybe if the Mirage is a Pyrus Greed, you might be looking for that. It's all for the economy. Now, you might not stick to the Lagoons if it's highly contested in the lobby, and expect to see about 4 or 5 stars for players that are all going on Lagoons and Astrals, so it's very normal to see what he's going for.
I have some bad news for us, Morgan. Namzi's a Cannoneer this game, so we're not going to see it. I'm bummed. I'm heartbroken. I want to see our girl more, but people do not like Namzi Cannoneer. It's unfortunate. Breaks my heart, man.
Yeah, same. In the start of this set 7.5, when it was first endorsed, Namzi Cannoneer was one of my favorites to see, because you would just play Gary Graves on her, and you would just use her because she counts as 2 Cannoneers, because her and the Tristana, of course, and you would play 4 Cannoneers into Graves carry with either Zeri, or maybe someone else that you could get to 3 stars, maybe a Senna. But in this specific meta, Namzi Cannoneer is not that interesting, yes.
No. Unfortunate. And we saw across the boards the augments coming out, and we have one player on trade sector that's going to be Bricks. Potentially could finally be the Nidalee carry that Panda was looking for. I'm wondering what he's going to be running as we get into this first start, and that's going to be Mujiwara taking an early L there from Chelandario.
Yeah, and if we could swipe a little bit into the lobby, you would see maybe like study what's going on with the players right now in the early games. Again, we have 2 Lagoon players so far. It was Mujiwara and GC. If you switch on to the other players, you might see an Astra player. You might see maybe someone playing with that. I think I saw a nice edge or a preparation. Yes, this one was it. Preparation is one of the best augments in the game, specifically with stuff like Guild. You would be looking at a Zaya that has 4 stacks of preparation, or a Shyvana that has 4 stacks of preparation. With Guild players, this makes for a very nice, delicious play to damage. And with the recent changes that this augment has received, it also gives you that nice HP addition to all your units. So preparation to me is one of the most amazing augments that pay, but in the late stages of the game.
Yeah, and I think seeing that early Rengar here for Dark Hydra, we saw already yesterday how strong Darkflight has been, how popular it has been. So having that preparation to get ready to roll for that Rengar 3 and having the Rengar this early on, it's a great start for Hydra. You can continue lost streaking past the carousel, past the Krugs, and then swap in your composition 3-1, 3-2, turn it around, and get that board rolling.
Yeah, and now he's apparently sticking to the loss streak, because you would guess with preparation, again, as I said, you don't really want to be winning that much in the early game, and it makes total sense. With preparation, it's not... I mean, is it a combat augment? I would say yes. And no, it's debatable. It's debatable. It is kind of a combat
It's kind of a hand-wavy answer to that one.
Yeah, but it doesn't help you in the early stages of the game, so sticking to a loss streak is a very smart idea here from Dark Hydra.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts as he goes in here to the carousel, running into Chelandario, who is full win streaking, so his odds are pretty good, just running that double Senna for the time being. I think the big thing about these compositions, of course, is barely losing. And that's my favorite little mini game here in TFT, because if you lose too much, you're going to end up like 60 HP by Krugs, and you don't have a lot to play with for the rest of the game. But
yes, that's
Hydra
my
so far
issue.
doing okay.
That's my issue. I mean, having a lose streak is fine, but losing with so many units still on board is not fine. So if you end up at 3-1 maybe, with above 70 HP, that's a beautiful loss streak. So if Hydra can keep up with the pace, maybe like kill many more units and reach Skrugs with about 70 HP, I would say he has a very nice start, and maybe try to reverse it. And see, it's not really that much. It's not as bad as it sounds when you're losing in the early game, because it allows you to find these perfect items for your comp in the late game. So if you're winning at the start, you're literally suffering from success.
Yeah. There's going to be that Infinity Edge pickup there for Dark Hydra with that glove off Carousel. And he has the ability to slam his Zeeks if he's looking for that, or he could wait out for that emblem, as we've seen so many of our Darkflight players do yesterday. Morgan, we're starting to see some compositions shape up. It's going to be another stage until we really see them. What's been your favorite composition coming into this patch? What are you hoping to see today?
Okay, so myself, when the PBE started, I thought that Lagoons were such a very smart and a very creative comp to be added. But then, as we all know, of course, as soon as it hits the live, it gets absolutely mashed with a nerf after nerf. And then shortly later, we've been seeing Lagoons happen to pop recently. And of course, one of my most favorite comps, not to play against, but to play with, because it hurts, was the legendary Kickman. The Dragon Mancer Lee Sin. However, he's been also nerfed to the ground because he was a little bit overtuned with the magic resistance, the reduction, and all of that. But I think I want to see more of the Kickman. I want to see more Dragon Mancer players.
We saw one yesterday. We're seeing one on board here. So there's the chance is still alive. The love is still alive. We could see another Dragon Mancer composition. Hopefully not Nunu. Hopefully heading more towards that Lee Sin angle, as you mentioned. And so far, Bronk having a pretty good early game with it. Going to be able to turn his loss around. The alternation not going to be too great for him.
Yeah, and okay, I'm asking another question as well, but this one is a little bit twisted, so watch out. To you, what was the craziest comp you've ever seen, or the most chaotic one? I think with the Dark Flights and the Zekis and everyone just having a massive amount of attack speed with one of the most chaotic comps we've seen. So to me, it was maybe Dark Flights. What about you?
I think any time that you have multiple Spatulas on the board, I start getting dizzy. We had one game where there was an Evoker and a Mage Spatula yesterday. I was just sitting there like, well... show me something, I guess. I don't know what's going to be coming out of this board. I always love those moments when our players get to have creativity with those spatulas. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Bronk's going to go. What is he going to put this Dragon Mancer spatula on? Because we've seen so many options. This has been one of the most flexible compositions coming into the entirety of set 7.
Yeah, but now, you see, I feel a little bit attacked here. I feel a little bit offended. You know that when two Nomsies are being left in the shop unnoticed, it is the Nomsie Cannoneer. It hurts. She's a dragon after all, but again, as long as you're not an Evoker or a Mage, well, I guess you're not gonna get picked at all. But seeing two Nomsies in the shop, you would definitely guess it's a Cannoneer variation.
If that were Zippy, he'd be picked up right away. I'm just saying there's some anti-frog bias going on here from our players, and I don't stand for it, Morgan. I'm glad you pointed it out. That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, frog lives do matter despite whatever variation you have, Cannoneer, Evoker, or Mage. But what I would love to see more, and we've been seeing it in return recently because of the recent skill score buff, and because you can play him with dragons now. I mean, of course, on the logical side, it doesn't make that much sense because skill scores, they defy their own cause, but they can still, finally, for the sake of business, team up with dragons. So you're gonna be seeing more and more skill scoring comps. Maybe with a Zippy, as you said. I'm more excited to see skill scores getting back onto the board. I remember in set 7, they were one of the most defying comps. You would see a lot of these Diana players and Olaf players, and now they're coming back.
Yeah, we were able to see one played yesterday, a 6 skill scoring game, in fact, and it went second place. So not quite the success we really wanted to see coming in, but we've already seen it so far today, and I'm hoping we get a couple more because it is still a fun composition. And I want to see if any changes come in, because yesterday there were no dragons involved, but we did see a Nomsi with a scale score. Again, not happening this game, unfortunately, but...
Yeah, it is unlikely. And one of the things that our analyst desk, put an eye onto or put in the spotlight is that set 7.5 in particular, to me, Nabiri, I don't know if you agree or not, it feels like the craziest set we've had overall. Now, there are so many dragons, there are so many variable sets, even though a lot of comments like Jade's, maybe despite all the buffs that Riot has been giving to them recently, they still haven't seen a spotlight come to them, so it's not that often that you see a Shio anymore, it's not that often that you see a Jade player that much, but I think the 7.5 opens for a lot of variation. Like, almost any composition can work as long as you get the correct drops for it, the correct augments for it, and maybe the right items. So it's not as boring to watch as maybe like so many sets and patches that we've had at some time. No, set 7.5 allows for so much variation that no game will be like the other.
Yeah, now coming into the second augment choices, Chalandario, full win streaking, but it's just silver augments. Calm down, everyone. It's not going to be too exciting. There's the potential for a thrill of the hunt, second win. There's some options here.
Okay, well, third one is not really one of the best, so I think second wind one would be making much more sense, specifically for the fact the electrocharge one also in the second stages of the game might be a little bit more intriguing, but yeah, third one doesn't sound that fun at all. I think electro would second wind, or second wind would be my choice. Even though here, I think second wind would be my personal choice because you're playing bruisers, you have a lot of HP.
Yeah.
So that 40% does make a huge difference. I think if I was in his place, maybe second wind would have been a little bit more intriguing, but let's see what he has in mind.
Yeah, Chalandario, I think, is just looking for the extra damage just from incidentally getting hit, so maybe going to be relying on those tanks. He has the potential to build into one of those bruiser compositions we've seen previously with the Pantheon Olaf double carry. Not as common to go for the Olaf 3 these days as it used to be. Go for primarily that Pantheon carry as a variation I've seen earlier on in the set. And I'm hoping we get to see it again today. Yesterday, Pantheon really surprised me with how much damage he was able to pump out.
Yeah, one of the strongest units in the game because of the Whispers comboing so well in his passive and his ability. It makes for one of the strongest units ever. You put a Titan's Resolve on him and that Pantheon just does not die. Specifically if you have a Celestial Blessing, it saves up for the Omnivamp item or Lifesteal item that you might be giving him. Pantheon, in my opinion, is one of the strongest units in this set. If you can get a Pantheon 2, if you can lay your hands on a Titan's Resolve, he's just unkillable with Whispers.
Yeah, I saw a Mage Pantheon one game, and I think that has haunted my nightmares ever since. The amount of stacks that man got. Disgusting. I do want to take a look, if we have the chance, onto Brick's board as we see Hydra building up that Darkflight composition, because Bricks, of course, started with that trade sector, and he's gone full loss streak all the way to 52 HP, and just won his first round. Looks like he, too, is going to be going for that Darkflight as we see the 2-star Aphelios picked up for him.
Yeah, and right now, still lovely to see players commit into the Dogflight plays again, but with the recent Swain buffs, he's able to stall so long for that front line, so you can your backline can lay the damage. Now, you would hear someone saying Darkflights, the first thing that would come to your mind is a Zeke's Herald, the first thing that would come to your mind is maybe a Protector's Vow with a Better Together comp, or whatever happens that all the Darkflights could benefit from it, but now, after the recent buffs Swain has been having, the focus has not been Aphelios anymore. Right now, it's switched into Rengar. Right now, it's switched into someone that you can maybe have higher odds of getting into a 3-star. And, you know, Rengar alone, as a unit, has so much value.
Yeah. He's been showing that there's a lot of strength once he gets those items going. During the mid-game here, he's going to be incredibly strong just at that 2-star. I think having that Bloodthirster spread out among all of the units is going to do a lot of work here for Dark Hydra's team. But as we get later, he's going to have to start rolling for that 3-star. And I'm wondering, as we look across the board, if he's going to be contested. Because that's been the story of every Darkflight game so far. You have one player who's doing really well with it, one of them that's holding hands with them and pulling them down to bottom 4.
Yeah, and looking at the items players have right now, almost everyone has committed. Everyone has been waiting, except Mujiwara, if I'm mistaken, with just 2 items right now on the board. And with that free trade sector refresh, he might be getting 3 stars. But now we see 2 players with the Darkflight contesting right here. He fully commits no more economy. And with the Pandora's Bench, maybe looking to contest that level 3 Rengar. But I don't think that committing right here was the best option. Even though these are desperate measures, it's completely understandable.
Yeah, I kind of like it because you have the emblem here, because like you said, he's so low on HP, he needs that board strength as soon as possible, and because he has Pandora's Bench, he doesn't necessarily have to manually roll. Just getting to the next stage is going to essentially give him free economy. So if he can survive, if this level up helps him enough to keep him in the game, it will have been worth it. But unfortunately for Brix, it looks like this is going to be another round loss for him, unless this Swain really pops off.
Yeah, again, with the Dark-like essence, it makes these ringers hit for really hard. But this is the issue. You were playing against a comp that consists against a rank 1 person in the lobby right now, so that electro charge, it did count into countering these assassins. And now we understand Shalandra's POV of picking up this electro charge, because playing against Darkflights and against assassins that you're gonna see so often in this meta, you would definitely expect assassin players to suffer against this comp.
Now, having a 2-star on that Pandora's Bench, Brix is really looking to go for gold at this point. And you can see that he's even got the Volibear there. If he had more economy, would be buying that as well. Just absolutely praying at this point for any Rengars, but hasn't yet happened for him.
Yeah, so many Darkflights in this lobby. You would tell it's the villain arc of our TFT players right now. But what I would like to see more is Astrals. I don't think I've seen anyone right now committing to Astrals so far, except maybe Nitr, and maybe I think Mujiwara is still sticking to the Lagoons, if I am mistaken, again with that perfect start that he had. But I'm very excited to see what the Pandora bench gives for Brix this game. If it gets him that 3-star Ranger, again, he doesn't want to buy that Volibear at all. Maybe he's considering getting it if he wins, and yes, he will be betting on it for the Pandora's bench. Let's go. And that is the beauty of the Pandora bench becoming a silver augment. Now, had that recent patch had not happened, you would not see such thing be in action.
Yeah, but it is so much randomness. Come on. It randomized into the exact same units.
It's another Volibear.
They just swapped spots. It's another Volibear and Zeri. All right. Not exactly what Brix was hoping for, I don't think.
It's all skill, baby. It's all skill. And this is the thing with Pandora's bench. You just can't hope for a better outcome than the same exact Volibear. He said, no, I'm staying for a little bit more time right here.
Yeah, I really like this bench. I like being a bench warmer. I'm not going anywhere. Holy, that's a lot of items here for Brix, but I don't think any of them are going to really help him out. Could go for that ZZ Rot in the middle spot if he wanted to swap out the emblem, but I think the emblem just far too valuable. He does get the Rengar, though.
Yeah, maybe a Lost Whisper on the affiliates would be a little bit useful to give some of that armor reduction for the double Rengar to start walking out. I think the Lost Whisper here could have some nice value, and you would only rely on the affiliates to just cast once, reduce their armor, and with the Rengar, with the Renans and Infinity Edge, it would make total sense. But to me, I think his, as you said, might be looking for Zekis to buff all of those Rengars, and he's already swapped out for a double 2-star Rengar too, so if he gets that Rengar 3, if he does, he might be getting that Cat Gang rolling on.
Yeah, I mean, he's found himself into a much better position relying on this Pandora's bench. It was a risky strategy, but so far it seems to have paid off. Yes, he's at the bottom of the board, but he's gotten so much board strength just from hitting those Rengar 2s that you're going to see him make his way through the next couple of rounds fairly safe and sound.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see the Nyla players hop on board. And Nyla to me is one of the craziest additions. Just as a lone unit, and the round 3 of augments, which is also going to be silver. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see a gold-silver augment game. I would love to see more gold ones, but I think at this point, if I was him, is a Celestial to maybe give these Ringers a little bit of healing.
Yeah.
What do you think is a good choice right here?
I'm a fan of Celestial here if you want to go for the healing, but it is more of a late game oriented. If he's looking for immediate power, Band of Thieves is going to be able to give him a little bit of that. So it depends on where Brix is putting the value, how many AD compositions are in the lobby as well. So it looks like he scouted around, decided the armor was worth it. That was the other consideration.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more frontline for the... Okay, he's trying to max out on the Cybernetic. It makes total sense, because at the Darkflight composition, you make sure that all of your units, at least each and every one of them, has an item. So that's essentially like a mini guild buff, a mini guild augment with 100 HP. It's like you just threw a Sejuani into the board. It's just 100 health for everyone and a little bit of armor for them with the Darkflight comp.
And we see Dalasum going for that Lagoon composition. We were talking about it earlier, so good to see it making an appearance. We suspect there's a second Lagoon player in the lobby. As Dark Hydra has stuck on this Dark Flight and sticking with the Bloodthirster spread. Not trying to go for a Zeke's, not trying to go, not able to find an emblem at this point. It's working out for him.
Yeah, but you see, this is my only issue with the Lagoon composition. Just as one Rengar, one assassin could completely destroy your Zom, and there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how much you clump, no matter how much you try to keep your units, as long as this Swain is alive in this composition, just like 1-star or 2-star Swain will already be such a hassle to deal with. Because even better, he has a Morello on him, so with the best friends and the attack speed, and it just makes for a perfect... I know, one thing, that's a max stack prepped Rengar, so there is no way you can win with a Lagoon composition against such a Darkfly comp. It's just so painful to play against.
Lagoon really spikes once you get that Zoe to be able to shield your units, to be able to keep that Psalm alive. Until that happens, I think it's going to be a dangerous position for all of those players. Now we see Bronk coming in, still running the Dragonmancer Nasus. Have to assume that's a holder for something, but he has not found it just yet.
Yeah, it makes total sense right now with how much he's sparking right now with 7-win streak, rocking up on that 8th. These assassins in the Darkfly comp will not be losing a single round until maybe you see someone who has a 3-star Rengar above him, or someone that can get that backline initially destroyed. So mages, they suffer against it, Lagoons, they suffer against it, and at this point I think Hydra might be the winner of the entire lobby if there is no reply from anyone else.
See what comes out here for our lower players on the board. And we see, of course, we were talking about Bricks earlier. We were talking about his loss streak, bottom of the table, but has come up with a win streak since finding those Rengar 2s, all the way up at 42 HP on a full win streak since we saw him last. So he's going to be sitting there pretty happy, looking for a Titan's Resolve, it seems like, to put on that Swain in the front line.
Yes, and it makes total sense again. All that armor you get and the ability power is going to make Swain do his main job, which is stalling, essentially, much better. Now, with that zone comp that is going on GCO, I think we might have just cursed it. My man had one of the best starts you would be hoping for, but apparently into the late game, it doesn't transition this much. At this point, he has the option of switching either to Whispers and maybe selling that Zom, because getting him into a 2-star might be like a hard job right now. But with the Zoe hopping in, I think this is the best you can aim for. And Stand United 1 doesn't really give that much value. Maybe...
I love this.
How much? 14 AP, is it? I'm not that good with maths, but maybe Stand United 1 is not the best option, but I'm very sure they did not get any better option. And look at the Lagoons. 160 at round 4-5 is a little bit low for the outcome you'd be expecting.
Yeah, but look at the Zoe here. I think this could be the difference maker. She gets nuked by a Zyra ultimate, so will not be for this fight. But between the Bard and the Zoe, we get so much more CC. The Psalm, even at 1-star, is fairly uncontested in the back. If meta can make it through this Dragon Horde, I suspect things will turn around. But it comes down to this last fight, because both he and Dalasum are on single-digit HP.
Yeah, if he does not win this round, he does not get to see that lovely treasure loot. 7 loss streak, you gotta commit, you have nothing else to do about it, and he already lost all hope and almost anything else but that level 2 Zom. If you don't get the level 2 Zom, if you play against one of the Darkfly players, there's nothing you can do about it. And this is why, this is exactly what I said, you cannot commit to a Lagoon comp until the late game. In this specific meta, you're seeing a lot of Darkfly players, you're seeing a lot of Whisper players, so Zom doesn't really play good into those, you know? Once that Rengar gets a taste of that backline, he does not stop.
Yeah, you have to have something to protect the Psalm, and we're going to see the Zoe coming out here for Dalasum as well, running into your man Mujiwara, the Egyptian representative, who's running that Lagoon Seraphine composition, which has fallen off post-nerfs, but it seems like Mujiwara still feeling like it's very viable.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of make me, like, question my existence right here is why did he never make the blue buff? You had a perfect start for the Lagoons, and sadly we're gonna be having to say goodbye for the first player in the lobby, and apparently GCO might be surviving to see the light for one more day against Brank to see if he could save the day with the Treasure Dragon on his first win after a demolishing 7 loss streak. He finally gets to see the light.
Yeah, Metabulette is going to be in trouble because you need some items for that upcoming, oh my god, a Dragonmancer emblem for Bronk. He could just go for the double emblem here, and that is, in fact, his decision. So he's going to be able to push for Dragonmancer 8. but still not having a particularly strong carry for it. And in this composition, this Volibear 2 just not going to be able to cut it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you don't even have the A Dragon Mancer buff that you're looking for yet. I don't know which one. I think he needs to still commit. Maybe with this. Wait, I think he should have it. He has an emblem outside. He hasn't still thrown it on the.
If he slaps that on the Soraka, we're good to go.
On the Soraka, yeah, he already has the A Dragon Mancer. But this is the thing: a magnetic remover right here on the Volibear. Yes, slam on the double gunblade, and the dual gauntlet would be your best option that you're looking for. Okay, makes total sense. Thank you, thank you. Now we're looking at the full potential, but the Axiom Arc is gonna have to put a lot of work in here.
Yeah. I mean, look at the position here for Bronk. The problem is he's looking for both the Lee Sin 3 and the Volibear 3, but he's so far away from both. 3 Lee Sins away, 4 Volibears away. This is the only way he wins this game, and it just seems completely out of reach with 1 round potentially to go.
Now, another option that was available was to choose Lee over Volley, since you're way too far away from getting either 2 of them on the 3-star, and maybe just sell those Volleys, start to commit for the Lee Sin. Lee Sin would have had a better job right here, but he apparently decides to commit to the Volibear, and against the Siphon there is no way you can survive it, specifically with the nice edge and the Electro Charge, so I think he might actually win it. The Siphon is alone right now, and the Yasuo is on board. We just need the Yasuo to strike it, but the Siphon is still alive, and he gets the Yasuo. He might be losing it at the end, and the Volibear healing is just not enough with the Siphon buff. He gets that final shot, and Brank gets 1 more fight to stay in the lobby.
Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Meta Bullet, who has fallen out in 7th place.
Ooh.
All
okay.
Right. So you got to make a decision here. Does he sell the lead? Yep.
No, commits to the volley. Why? Why does it?
I think it makes sense from his position. He's fully itemized the Volibear. There's no chance that this Lee Sin becomes the carry because these just are not fantastic Lee Sin items. He would have to full sell out his Volibear. He's been looking for this angle since round 1 of the game.
Yeah, okay. I mean, in this specific position, maybe it made a lot of sense with the Volibear having slightly a better chance. But see, that's the issue. I don't think the Soraka is going to have enough time to use the ability. Maybe barely, yes, to get the value for the HP. But it doesn't matter. He's still on 7 HP right now, and the Dark Flights are just absolutely dominating. And I guess we're going to say goodbye to Brank from this lobby because the Volibear is not going to be doing much against that Swain, perhaps. And the knockup gets him, but the Rengar is barely still alive, able to put and chunk that big damage on him. The Yasuo doing his best, but that Swain will just not be dying at all easily, and there's 1 unit left on the board. If the Yasuo gets the final slash, he might be able to win it, and the Swain is not going to be winning that 1v1 fight because all the shields on the Yasuo, and Brank lives for another day with the Yasuo doing all the work against the Swain.
Both Brank and Nitrotex down to single-digit HP. This round could decide our top 4 for the lobby. Desperately rolling here for Brank. He is 1 Volibear away from salvation, but will not hit it this turn.
Yeah, you hate to see it, losing to a single 1-star Yasuo, but that seems like... You know that Dragon Mancer Yasuo cinematic? This in my head is how it looks like. It's a legendary battle between him and a Swain 2, fully itemized, but that Yasuo 1-star, because he is the Dragon Mancer, he pulls in that cinematic on board.
All right, now, potential final fight here. You've got the Psalm in the backline for Nitra against Brock. This is the elimination fight.
Yeah, but he has Mystics. He has 2 Mystics, so that Volibear is not going to be doing that much damage as you would expect it. And again, the Nyla is going to be getting rid of that Yasuo very quickly, and there is not going to be a second chance for Brank to pull it off this time. The Yasuo has done it last time, but this time with the Mystics, it will chunk a huge amount of the damage that the Volibear is doing. So you have a Celestial, you have double Gunblades, but the Zom with the final burst might have it, but the Soraka will do it, and Nitrotex says goodbye. Even the Mystics didn't do that much damage.
Now, final 5 are here. Bronx survives another round, has a chance to roll for that Volibear this round. If he wants to go for it, finding an item for that front line, it's an opportunity for him.
Yeah, it's very interesting what he was able to do, but I think after this battle, we might be down for our top 4 in round 1 at this point. There are so many items on board, but sadly, none of them are very effective for the Volibear. He just decides to go for the Mirage, maybe for the Soraka, I mean, to sell her, get a 2-star Soraka, but as soon as he sells her, another one appears in the shop, and well, hello. Too late for that.
Yeah, I think this is, he sells the Lee Sin too. He's really digging for this, but not enough gold to work with. 1 more roll is all he has, but nothing to do with it. one more round. Bronk has to pray to stay alive.
Let's see how it goes. I'm Mirage right now on this Jax. I forgot what the Mirage effect was in this game, but it might be giving for a little bit more frontline. And this time, the clump is actually very, very effective. None of the Rengars are able to reach the Soraka, but okay, I take it back. After the ability, they reach it. And I learned one thing after watching him for all of these rounds: trust in the volley Dragon Mancer. Apparently, with the 8 Dragon Mancers, he might be doing a lot, but the Morello with the anti-heal will be chunking this Yasuo in this volley. But guess what? He's way too strong. Now I know why he fully trusted in the volley, and I do believe in the double gunblade with the Celestial Blessing. And again, it's the Swain alone on board, and he also does finish it for another win at Brink, and it might be one of the most amazing comebacks we've seen. And all of this with a 2-star volley, he's just 1 star away from full potential.
Yeah, this Yasuo is saving him. Round after round after round, like you're saying, it's down to that final 1v1 against these Swains, against these tankier units, and that's what's saving him. Bronk going to sell. He has found the Volibear, but he would have to sell one of his units for it.
Who is it gonna be? He decides to go for the 3-star volley and play with the 7 D-Mancers for now, but was that the correct decision? That's the thing. Is it an 8 D-Mancer that is worth it, or will it be the 3-star volley? It's very risky. Now, in this position, I wouldn't really know what call should I make. But apparently he knows that he has to commit, but that destroys his clump fully. So his backline is going to be completely unprotected, including the Soraka. That definitely suffers right here, and that might have not been the best option, I guess.
Here comes the Volibear, though. Look at the damage coming out from this lightning. Each one is healing him for a ton of HP, but it's just not enough.
Not enough.
And the Rengar comes out, finally takes down that Yasuo, finally takes down Bronk, and we have our top 4.
That was a mistake, and that was definitely a mistake. Sacrificing
Top
the
3.
8 D-Mancer, sacrificing the frontline, sacrificing the clump to get top 4 with Brink. I think he might have had a better chance living up to this round, and maybe the item he would have got from the Herald would have been kind of worth it, but that was one of the weirdest decisions that we've seen in this comp.
And here we are. We're going to be seeing that Xiao Yu Whispers composition that we saw a little bit of yesterday, once more showing up with that secondary Pantheon carry, the Xiao Yu to back them up. Tons of frontline damage, tons of survivability, and it's working really well for Shelendario. Has a 31 HP lead over Mujiwara, the 2nd place in the lobby.
Yeah, and with the Whispers and the Bandora's bench, you're just hoping to find that siphon, and I think Mishmesha disagrees with what's happening right now on board, but I'm sorry, it's gonna be fine. Okay, if you say so.
Yeah, she feels really strongly about this board not being strong enough, and we'll see if she's right. You know?
Okay, I think at this one, she's just grieving so bad for that Volibear. She hopes that maybe he would have won if he survived.
We're all sad. Don't worry about it, kitty.
It's okay, Mishmesha, it's okay. We all feel bad about it. But right now, we have one battle that might be a little bit drawing lines right here between Hydra and this board. But with the Dark Flights, you would be wishing you stand a chance against the Whispers, but that's the thing. Whispers are too strong into the Dark Flights, and all of this tankiness that comes out from them, from the Bruisers, from the Mystic effect. Even the Swain right here is completely unarmed at doing anything to this Pantheon. He almost finished the fight with full HP.
And the thing about Hydra's board, right, we've been watching it all game, he was contested by Bricks all the way up until last round, so he does not have access to that Rengar 3. He goes for level 9 right now to try and get a little bit more strength on board, but I think he's rather capped himself because of his lack of economy.
Yeah, it kind of hurts. It kind of hurts to see it end that way, but again, it might be the last round for Dark Hydra. He's going against Mugiwara. And which comp is the strongest? Still, until this point, hasn't been able to get that level 3 Rengar, despite being that contested in the early game about it with the Rengars. He's still committed to the Dark Flights. He's still committed to playing with the Essence. And right now, it's going to be both of them against each other on that board. 2 Rengars. Which one is better? Both almost have identical items, except for the lifesteal being a little bit extra on the other side. And he's only playing against the Shadow, if I'm not mistaken, and he still does lose to the clone, because apparently the Swain is the only survivor on the board right now, and that kinda hurts when you have to play against it. Level 1 star Graves with no items at all might not be giving that much value, but the Swain is somehow winning it with the Archangel buff, giving it all over. He's still alive until now, and you don't have a Yasuo to slash him with the 1v1s, but there goes the Graves. Absolutely mad. And we have our top 2 finalists in the first lobby, Mujiwara, my man, being one of them. I'm a bright father.
I'm glad your son is doing well, sir. Mujiwara still level 8 though, so going to be rolling down, looking for that Jace 2, looking for that Graves 3. On the other side of the board, we see Chelandario tantalizingly close to that Shio 3, just 2 more to go, and has the Pandora's Bench to help him out. Neither of them looking for that level 9 mark.
Yeah, and now it's going to be a 1v1 with the Darkfly board against the Whispers, and I'm definitely vouching for the Whispers here. What do you think? I think the Whispers do a pretty nice job against these ones, and it's not going to be that helpful actually to with the Zyra, because Whispers, they don't suffer against it. You have so many units scattered on the board, you have a lot of stuff going on, and the Pantheon is definitely able to counter in the front line, and that Runazorican on a Siphon is definitely shredding a lot of the back line, and I think Chelandario might just have the better board right here until the end game, and Mujiwara might be settling for second.
Yeah, it really depends on who hits their 3 stars first, I think, at this point. You can do a little bit of positioning there for Mujiwara. Of course, the Siphon was the one to come onto the backline and kill that Seraphine. Maybe one more ult would have changed the game, but at this point, it really is the desperation rolls here for Mujiwara to stay in it, especially now that Chelandario has picked up the Infinity Edge for one of his carries.
Yeah, and this is the beauty about Dragon Comps. You have one person protecting the front line.
Shio 3 now.
Yeah, Shio 3 is like 1 away. 1 on, like 2 to 2.
There's one in the shop. There's one in the shop. He's locked it.
Yeah, and does he sell the Zom and maybe try to go for this one, secure it, or is he still relying on the Pandora's Bench? Interesting, very interesting.
So he's still safe here from the 1v1. Nobody's going down this round, and I think he's waiting on the Pandora's Bench to see if it rolls before he buys the other Shio.
But wait, why not just sell the Zom and secure one of the Shios in the shop?
I'm going to be frank with you, I don't know, because if I recall correctly, having something in the shop pulls it from the pool.
Oh, okay, that might make a lot of sense right here. And apparently Mujiwara still doesn't have a reply at all to what's going on with Chelandario, except in this round he changed it for more and more Mystics to protect against the damage that was coming out from this board, and we're still going back and forth. You never know really who's gonna win. And Chelandario is still looking for that one Shio far away from Shio 3. If he gets it, it is a GG. It is a GG for Chelandario. Okay, place your bets right now, Neberia. Who's winning?
I think Chelandario is going to find the roll. He's got 3 dragons going. He's got a roll. He's got 2 more rounds before he can even potentially die because of all that health. I think he's got this one in the bag.
Okay, and right now I'm still sticking with Mujiwara. I believe in the vote. I still believe. I go for the Hopium with him right now. 5 Jades running up a lot of attack speed, and the Bard right now gets the perfect cast, and the Pantheon is gonna be out of the composition completely, and with just a Hudge, he's not gonna be able to survive right now against Shio. Gets the final shot, but he's still surviving, and again, another win for Mujiwara, and Chelandario does commit for that Shio 3 as long as he gets, and there it is! Gets it with the Pandora's Bench! A Shio 3 for Chelandario after the upgrade.
And this is going to be a problem now from Mujiwara. You can see him start to roll down, looking for that Yasuo 2, looking for that Graves 3. He knows he only has a little bit of time left. With that positioning, with that better movement for the Seraphine, he's able to keep her safe, able to keep her in the game. Against a Shio 3, though, that's not going to be an option.
Yeah, and you have to fully commit to the Graves 3 right now. It's either the Graves 3 or the Yasuo 2 that is going to be your solution against it. Which one wins it? Which one is stronger? Is it going to be the Yasuo 2 maybe being swapped into the board? Or will it be relying on fully committing all of your money right now on the Graves 3? It is kind of contested. And look at Mujiwara. He's holding one of these. I mean, look at
Chelandario.
Chelandario, yeah, I mean Chelandario. He's holding one of these Graves. He has a Graves 2-star right now on the bench.
Yep.
Outside, he's holding it, and he's smiling in an evil way right now. Oh, you want that? You want that? I got a lot of them on my bench. You're not getting that Graves 3. You're not getting that Graves 3. That's the most evil thing I can imagine.
Perfect play here from Chelandario, and it should secure him the win in what could be the final round of the game.
That's very lovely. Yeah, he holds the Graves outside, and the Shio 3, you don't need to commentate that. What am I gonna say? A dragon wreaking havoc upon everybody, a punch after punch from the Shio, securing a win against Mujiwara, and it's gonna be him already out. And holding the Graves was just a genius idea to prevent Mujiwara from reaching that Graves 3.
That's the difference maker that we see. That's what makes the difference as we get in.